Hey, welcome to InConversations with Old Man River, where we dive deeper and dissect the new album, I Love You, Sorry, Please Forgive Me, Thank You, track by track. We start with the first track today, Urban Daydream, and I have the pleasure to speak to my dear friend over in New York, McGowan Southworth. So here we go. Enjoy. Hello.
Hello.
How you going?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good. So I'd like to introduce a dear friend of mine. This is McGowan Southworth. McGowan is a great artist, an amazing songwriter, independent artist, but also a great collaborator because you have the ability to write your own songs, but also this amazing ability to bring out whatever needs to be brought out in other people's songs. You really help people give birth. I guess you're like a doula.
I should use that as a way to convince people to write with me next time. That is a midlife kind of term, by the way. I wouldn't have known what a doula was at 20 when I first met you.
And you're joining us from New York City. So the reason we're chatting today is because on this new album, the new album called I Love You, Sorry, Please Forgive Me, Thank You, it's not a conventional album. It's an album that took me about 8 years to finish. It's not like I was working on it every day for the 8 years, but it's a bit like a patchwork blanket of just different projects, different songs from different eras. And I think there's like 3 or 4 really dominant periods in that album. And one of them is, I would call it the New York sessions or the Kachinas sessions. And that's when we birthed those songs in the album. So how about I let you talk a little bit about how it all came together, because you were pretty much responsible for it.
I think I remember. Obviously we had hung out a bit in Sydney, and we're jamming a bit, and it's just really I was vibing a lot of your music and a lot of the records that you'd done around that time. Somehow, just cosmic Old Man River or Hod kind of persona. I kind of made the connection in my mind one night. I think I was dreaming, I woke up and I was like, oh, I should do a surf record. I mean, he kind of embodies that in a way, in such a cool way that, so I felt I usually don't like, I don't usually impose so much on people, but I just felt it so much in the moment. I think I sent you a little message and said, hey, Ohad, crazy idea. And you're like, sure, I'm going to come to New York. Do you want to get some people together or something? And I was like totally surprised. I was like, I guess so,
I mean, because
so
if you were gonna do a surf film soundtrack, you'd do it in New York. I mean, that's the
yeah, that's right.
There was those 2 showcases I needed to play, and you kind of
Yes, you had. That's
helped
right.
me, like you hooked me up with these amazing musicians. But I guess the songs were so simple. We got that out of the way. Like what, in 20 minutes? Still get free chords. We got this. My personal experience was, I mean, none of us were expecting what happened.
Yeah.
And it was just, I mean, I didn't really know Arun and Devin, who we're talking about, are fellow musicians and producers. Each one of them owns like his own studio and operates his own studio. And during those days, I think I can't even trace it back, but it was like about a week that I was in town. It wasn't that long even.
No, and we had to rehearse and play a couple shows at the same time.
Yeah, so everything happened really fast. And I guess once we got the songs we rehearsed for the shows out of the way, then this magic just happened. We just jammed. So, I mean, we were rotating between instruments, and one time you'd play the drums and I'd play the bass, and then Devin would then jump on the drums and Arun would play the bass, and just
Yeah.
playing, with the toys that were around us. And these songs just started popping, boom, 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 because the tape was running, luckily.
Yeah. It was kind of like everything we touched turned into a song that had like real creative counterpart and poignancy. I just was enamored by all of it. I just thought, wow, it's such a rich, basket of tunes that was just coming out of us. It's really cool.
So how do you explain the fact that four people that hardly knew each other really, I mean, you guys were connected before, we were connected, but together as like this group dynamics, we didn't really have a connection, but then we sparked like what, 20 pretty great songs in 2 days.
Yeah.
How
I
do
don't
you
know. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love collaboration is it brings things out of you that you never expected, and it takes turns that is like unfolds in new and unexpected ways, which is, I think, it in itself feeds the creativity. So as long as it's going in a way that is, I think, fun, then more, it just sort of is like a good feedback loop. More good stuff happens. It's like we got one. It's like, oh, let's do another. Let's see what happens if we go a little faster at a faster pace or a different key, or I don't know what even drove any of this stuff. I think I kind of remember like you just jumping out with a lot of these melodies and them just being great right from the go. I think you surprised all of us, Ohad. I don't know why.
Oh my gosh. And I guess it's really hard to remember, but it was a pretty effortless birth.
Yeah, I think all of this stuff was incredibly effortless. It was at the inception.
And so we had a lot of time together to just like workshop the lyrics in between the sessions. And
Yeah, I kind of remember. We were staying in our apartment down the street, and you were staying there, and I'd come over to pick you up in the morning. Be like, all right, Ohad, what are we doing now? Going to the studio or rehearsal or the show or whatever, and we kind of play back those memories, right, and sort of piece apart some of that stuff and come up with some a little more conceptual work in the lyrics and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a fun memory going up, sitting down and sort of strumming them down on the acoustic guitar with you and sort of, fleshing them out, which also had its magic. I remember we like take some guitars out to the park at one point, and
I really remember that vividly. I don't know if we did it once or a few times, but going out to the park in your neighborhood in Sunset Park, and there's this amazing view of the city, and I remember it like it's just pure magic, and the things that came out, it immediately just painted an image in our heads, and I think it's kind of connected to that surf film soundtrack idea.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I think some of that stuff was coming so naturally. We were a little bit worried that it was cheesy, right? And or that it might come off as that. But for me, it always sounded genuine. I always imagined, I had a big, quite a lot of the inspiration for me is, all the great time we've had on the beach in your neighborhoods, in Sydney and whatnot. And so I was probably imagining a lot of that, and you're probably imagining your experience here in Brooklyn, right? So maybe like
Well, that's the
interpret.
irony and the beauty. Like there we are in a park called Sunset Park, writing about wanting to be, like that longing to be united with the sun. Weather is not that great, but we're painting this picture of a beachy, uh,
Yeah, that's
ideal.
right. And I think you pointed out that the weather was not fantastic on I think either of your visits. I just want the world to know that in Brooklyn, the sun does shine. It was incredibly beautiful today. It happens. That spring is coming. It's okay.
Thank you so much, McGowan.
Thank you, Ohad. I'm honored.
Thanks for your.
Honored to be a part of your newest record. So it's a great honor.
Thank you for being in conversations with me, and we will chat soon.
Yeah, sounds great.
All the best.
Cheers.